The Deeper You Go, a flash fiction by Cardoza. The woods had always been my place to breathe. Out there, everything pressed down on me, too loud, too heavy, too much to carry. But here it was quiet. The trees didn't ask anything of me. I could walk for hours and almost forget the weight of it all. Almost. It was getting dark, but that didn't bother me. The woods were familiar, a place where I could think or not think at all. The fading light was soft, filtering through the leaves. I couldn't place why the unease crept in. The air felt heavier, smelled different, damp like something was waiting, watching. I kept walking anyway. I wasn't ready to go back yet. Not yet. Then I saw the fire, a flicker between the trees, small and steady. I hadn't expected anyone, not this far out. My pace slowed, the crunch of my boots softening with each step. Closer now, I made out a man hunched by the fire, poking the coals like he'd been there a long time. The man didn't look up, but spoke as if he had been waiting for me. "Evening," the man said without looking up. "Evening," I answered, stepping closer. "Didn't expect to see anyone out here." He nodded, still poking at the fire. "Not many do. What brings you this far?" I opened my mouth, then paused. The question was simple, but something about it sat heavy, like there was more to it. I wasn't sure why I'd come, not really. "Just walking," I said after a beat. The man glanced up, the firelight flickering in his eyes. "Walking?" "Yes." He leaned back, his gaze sinking into the flames. "There was a man, long ago, thought he'd find something out here, something valuable. So he wandered deeper, always deeper. But the further he went, the more elusive it became." The man's voice was low, almost a whisper. He stirred the fire again, watching the flames dance. "Some say he found it. Others say he never came back at all. Hard to know what's true out here. The woods hold on to things, you know. Secrets." He frowned, a chill creeping up his spine. There was something in the way the man spoke, something unsettling that made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. "What do you mean?" I asked, trying to keep my voice even. "Did he get lost?" The man didn't answer at first. He stared into the flames like he was seeing something far off. "He didn't just wander," the man said at last. "He chased shadows, always sure what he wanted was just beyond the next tree. But the deeper you go, the more you lose yourself. He never thought that what he was after might be hidden by the very place he trusted would give it to him." A knot tightened in my stomach. His words hung there, heavy, like something unfinished. "And what happened to him?" I asked. The man smiled, but it stopped short of his eyes. "He's still out here, I reckon. Still looking. Still empty-handed." Before he could say more, the man stood suddenly, brushing off his hands. "You should go," he said. "The woods have a way of holding on to those who linger." Without another word, he turned and vanished into the dark. His footsteps made no sound. Soon, the fire was the only light left. I stood there a moment, then turned back to the fire. But there was no fire. I blinked, staring at the empty clearing. The ground where the flames had been was cold. No coals, no footprints, not even the smell of smoke. I crouched down, touching the earth. Cold, empty. A cold shiver crawled up my spine. I stood, scanning the trees. Nothing moved, not a sound. I swallowed hard and turned, walking back the way I'd come, my steps quicker now. The woods felt different now. The quiet pressed in, heavy and close. The man's words echoed in my mind, but the deeper you go, the more you lose yourself. I picked up my pace, heart thudding in my chest. The peace I'd come for, suddenly it felt like it was slipping away.